that she had a baby with a woman. Oh, I didn't come in for this. They putting it everywhere, that you performed for Trump. That doesn't make sense to me. And you're afraid of a gay family being loving and taking care of a child. Mind you, this is the photo that he's afraid of. Mind you, he was also on the L Word. How's he going to explain that to his grandkids? That's a show about lesbians. As a parent, you should also explain to your children that other things exist in the world outside of what you have deemed normal in your own home. Snoop Dogg, the man who walked women on leashes and dog collars, openly bragged about being a pimp, directed lesbian scenes in Korn, and starred in multiple episodes of The Lord, is now complaining that seeing a lesbian couple on screen is a bad influence on his kids. Y'all can't make this up. If there was an Oscar for hypocrisy and double standards, Snoop would snatch it without even breaking a sweat. Snoop literally profited off queer narratives. Yet somehow he thinks that seeing a lesbian couple in a cartoon will turn his kids gay or trans or some other BS. But hey, can we expect anything else from a man who back in 2017 said everyone who performs for Trump is an Uncle Tom, only to turn around and perform for Trump in 2025? So ain't nobody going to perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you ass going to be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out one of you Uncle Tom ass for doing it. Which one of you going to do it first? I was the one that's performs for himself. I like he performed at the crypto ball as part of inauguration weekend for Donald. Now, about this recent controversy over Snoop saying he's scared of LGBTQ propaganda in cartoons. Some folks are defending him and saying he's got a point because it supposedly indoctrinates kids. On the flip side, many others are pointing out that Snoop built his career rapping about gangs, crime, selling dope, and people. But now he claims he's scared of an animated film just because it shows a lesbian couple together for less than 10 seconds. And it's not just people on the internet who are dragging Snoop. Several public figures also called him out, including Marlon Wayans, who said that this must be the dumbest is he's ever heard Snoop say. But in case you're out of the loop, let me fill you in on what happened. So Snoop is catching serious heat after making a weird comment about a lesbian couple in the 2022 animated Disney movie Lightyear Year. On last week's episode of the It's Giving podcast, Snoop shared how he recently watched the movie with his grandson. And when the kid supposedly asked him about the female couple having a baby, Snoop said he had no clue how to respond. And he even claimed he's too scared to go to the movies now because he might see something that he won't be able to explain to his kids. The rapper explaining his shock at seeing lesbian parents depicted on screen. The scene from the 2022 film marked Disney's first same-sex kiss. Why my grandson in the middle of the movie like Papa Snoop? How she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. I didn't come in for this. Just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey man, watch the movie. So it's like I'm scared to go to the movies. Like y'all throwing me in the millet. Yeah, they are going to ask. I don't have an answer. What did you tell them? Watch the movie. Now, as you can imagine, the internet wasted no time dragging Snoop and saying things like, so instead of educating your grown self and explaining to your child, you sit there like a dumb and whine about it. And someone else said, reminds me of old white people being upset by having to see black and brown people in movies and commercials. Oh, the irony. A lot of people also pointed out the obvious hypocrisy considering Snoop himself has actively promoted things that are harmful for kids. Someone on X said Snoop Dogg hosts live streams of GTA and COD gameplays introducing and violence, which I'm sure his grandson has seen, but he draws the line at a gay couple. But the thing that really confused a lot of fans is the fact that Snoop actually spent years acting like he was an LGBTQ+ ally. He literally told HuffPost in 2013 that he supported gay marriage. So, how will he explain that to his grandson? When asked about his stance on gay marriage, Snoop said, "People can do what they want and as they please. Satisfy yourself accordingly. I have no issues with nobody. I live for me and I live my life doing what I do. So, you should have the right to do whatever you want to do." But that's not all. Back in 2004, Snoop starred in the lesbian TV drama, The L Word. So again, when his grandson sees this, how will Snoop explain it to him? And the wildest thing is that his whole character arc in The L Word was literally going from, I'm scared I don't know anything about lesbians, to literally becoming a vocal active ally. Like that was the whole point of his character, Slim Daddy. But now all of a sudden it's too hard for Snoop to explain how two women can have a child. All you gotta explain is adoption. I mean, Snoop is friends with Madonna and she adopted a black child. So how will he explain to his grandson how a white woman and her white husband have a black baby? Now, to be fair, not everyone is out here dragging Snoop. Some folks are actually agreeing with him and saying he's got a point about this type of stuff being shown in Disney movies. Someone said, "There's nothing wrong with wanting to protect children from adult topics. Nothing wrong at all." And another person wrote, "Snoop Dogg speaks for millions of parents tired of Disney's forced agenda. They are shoving this garbage into kids' films and ruining the experience." But here's the thing. The main problem people have with Snoop is his hypocrisy. Like, let's be real. Disney's been slipping all kinds of questionable stuff into their cartoons for decades. Violence, racism, colonialist undertones, all types of offensive stereotypes, you name it. But now suddenly, a 2-second kiss between two women is the line in the sand. Now, if Snoop has an issue with showing any type of kissing in cartoons, his argument would make sense. But hetero kisses and storylines have always been in Disney films. Did we forget about Prince Charming kissing Snow White while she was passed out, or Aladdin basically lying his way into Jasmine's life? And this is why Snoop just comes off as selective and performative. And that's actually what Marlon Wayans pointed out, saying Disney has been pushing way worse messages for decades. And Snoop never had an issue with that. So if you're going to call something out, then let's call out all of it, not just the stuff that makes you uncomfortable. In response to Snoop's comments, Marlon said, "There ain't no Hollywood agenda to turn kids gay. That's the dumbest ish I've ever heard. Disney characters lie, steal, cheat, kill, poison, and everything. And don't nobody say it's an agenda to turn their kids into a piece of ish. I watched Snow White when I was a kid, and I ain't give a bee a poison apple yet. But as soon as a gay character pops up, it's an agenda." Meanwhile, Snoop was also criticized by LGBTQ+ advocates, and a spokesperson for the LGBT Foundation said in a statement, "Seeing LGBTQ+ people on screen is powerful and helps everyone feel seen. Negative remarks from high-profile figures cause real harm by fueling stigma and undermining hard-won progress." And then the writer of the Disney movie Lightyear also spoke out, and she said she's proud of that scene and she believes it was necessary and made sense for the movie. Writer Lauren Gunderson addressed the controversy in the Threads post and wrote, "As we wrote early versions of what became Lightyear, a key character needed a partner. And it was so natural to write she instead of he. As small as that detail is in the film, I knew the representational effect it could have. Small line, big deal. I was elated that they kept it." Gunderson added, "I'm proud of it to infinity. Love is love." Meanwhile, TSM Madison had a way harsher response to Snoop, and she aired him during her recent appearance on TMZ Live, saying he's a hypocrite because the stuff in his music videos is way worse than two animated characters kissing for 2 seconds. Snoop Dogg has historically been an advocate against censoring, and his fame is based off expression. So my question is, Snoop, you have music videos with women dancing and kissing other women dancing naked. So why is displaying lesbian behavior in your music videos appropriate, and you are afraid to answer the questions from your grandchildren? Now, TMZ pushed back a little bit, saying Snoop's music videos are not meant for children. But T.S. Madison doubled down, basically saying, let's not pretend like kids don't watch these music videos. And Snoop himself never said he banned his grandson from watching his video. So it still makes him a hypocrite. So wait a minute. There's an answer to that, which is that the videos that he does for his music videos for adults, they're not like he would say that those music videos aren't for kids. I know that would be the setting and that would be the but as a person who understands how kids work, kids see everything. They see music videos, they hear lyrics. They hear these things. But TS, that's where parenting comes in, right? I mean, you're right. Kids, if you just let them, they can see everything. I'm glad you said that's where parenting comes in, because as a parent, you should also explain to your children that other things exist in the world outside of what you have deemed normal in your own home. But judging by the reactions on social media, most people feel that the biggest hypocrisy here isn't even about Disney or gay representation in cartoons. It's Snoop himself. Because even if he did have a point somewhere, he is the absolute wrong messenger. Given that this is the man who helped usher in Trump's second term, the same man who spent years publicly clowning Trump, calling him a racist, tearing into other Black Trump supporters and calling them coons and Uncle Toms. Then fast forward, and suddenly Snoop's dapping up Trump at the White House and basically helping normalize the same man he once swore was poison for the culture. That's not just a flip-flop. It's part of the reason Trump managed to keep feeding off legitimacy from hip-hop and Black celebrity power in the first place. So now Snoop Dogg wants to play moral authority about Disney. Yeah. No. If you helped usher in the very regime you claim to hate, you don't get to give lectures about what's corrupting the kids. But hey, at the end of the day, this is definitely one of those polarizing topics, and we don't all have to agree. But the conversation itself still matters. So, I want to hear from y'all. Do you think Snoop has a point about gay representation in kids' cartoons? Or is he just cherry-picking because it makes him uncomfortable? Do you buy him as a credible voice in this debate given his own contradictions? And bigger picture, do you even think Disney should be the first place where kids first see queer representation? Or should that responsibility fall elsewhere? Leave all your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.